Since we talked about Sean versus Brandon, I think it's important to talk about Phil Heath versus Brandon as well. Let's see how Phil would have fared had he decided to compete this year, arguably with the same package he had from last year. The front double biceps shows that Brandon has the wider chest, shoulders, and lats, along with a small waist, thus hitting a very impressive V-taper. Brandon also has very powerful biceps, even when comparing him to Phil. Phil, on the other hand, had troubles hitting this pose due to his narrow structure. Brandon looks more aesthetic and pleasant to the eye and would win this pose. Brandon would also win the front lat spread. He hits an impressive pose, making use of his wide chest, shoulders, and lats. I like the shape of his chest and shoulders in this pose. Phil does not look that impressive due to the same problem regarding his narrow structure. Phil's domination, however, starts with the side poses. The side chest shows that he has the better rounded chest and the unmatched bubble-shaped muscles with the superior conditioning. Notice the striations in his quads and glutes. Another side chest pose to show the phenomenal conditioning of Phil's physique, which Brandon has not reached yet. Look at the unbelievable striations in his chest and lower section. Every time I get back to Phil's pictures, I become more convinced that he would have defeated Sean, had it not been to the bloated stomach. Phil's conditioning was inhuman, even when comparing him to Ronnie in his prime. Say what you want to say about his personality, but as a bodybuilder, nobody should argue about how dominant this man was in his prime. Phil continues to dominate in the back poses. The back double biceps is one of his most powerful poses, in which he shows his incredibly powerful 3D back. He looks more cut, ripped, and packs more defined muscles in the lats area. Look at the size of his thighs and the superior conditioning he shows in his striated hamstrings. Phil also has the better calves. Brandon might be wider in the rear lat spread, but so was Big Ramy and Dennis Wolf. Yet, Phil still defeated them, although he was not as wide. It's not only about the size or the width, it's also about the insane level of conditioning this man brings on the stage. Look how ripped and cut Phil is in the lats area, to the degree that he turns Brandon into an amateur. Look how his massive traps form what looks like an armor on his back. This level of conditioning was absent this year, including Hadi Chopin himself, and you know that this is a fact. Phil would also win the side triceps. He has among the best triceps in this era, and when combined with the superior conditioning he had last year, the result would be unmatched. Look at the size and the striations in his triceps, shoulders, and quads. Brandon has no answer to this level of conditioning. In fact, nobody had an answer this year. The abs and thighs is one of Phil's least impressive poses, and we all know why. Brandon this year presented a tight midsection with ripped abs and aesthetic small waist. Phil has the better quads, but I think Brandon would still win this pose. Phil would win the most muscular. Brandon might be wider, but so was Big Ramy and Dennis Wolf. It's not only about the size or the width. Look at Phil's superior traps and the definition he shows in his chest and rounded shoulders. He is way better conditioned and ripped than Brandon, and it shows in almost every single pose. So Phil would win this matchup, but this does not mean that I am underestimating Brandon's achievement. Not at all. Brandon did a great job, and it wasn't his fault that Sean was banned and Phil decided not to compete. I believe that he was the most complete on the stage, thus he deserved to win. He was not perfect, but he was the best this year. I also think that he represents the sport in a very positive way. The man is very humble and outspoken. So let's give him a chance to prove himself. Let me know what you think about this matchup, and don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.